Ayo. I like that one. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasized Football. We are back once again, bringing y'all some more fantasy football content for the 2021 fantasy football season. And we are here today to bring to you something a little bit different. I mean, it's not really that different, but it's something fucking different, so whatever. Listen, I'm bringing y'all 5 players that I do not want to leave any of my fantasy football drafts without. Sometimes I might have to, but I'll tell you right now, I sure as hell don't want to, baby. But listen, me and my boy, we are out here. You're here. The whole gang's here. Thank you for clicking the video. I love you so much. Before we get into it, though, quick shout out to each and every one of y'all for coming by on a weekly basis, showing your boy some love and support. I really do appreciate it. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I still can't get over that goddamn intro. That was good shit, wasn't it? Anyways, seriously, I love you guys so much. Thank you for helping this channel grow. It means the world to me, helping me pursue this dream to be a fantasy football YouTube maestro. You guys are the absolute shit. If you are new to the channel, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 300 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. I would really appreciate it. Help me feed my boy back here. He's the shit. He's a good dude, man, and he needs to eat. But yes, we are talking about the 5 players that I do not want to leave my fantasy football drafts without today. We're going to be using Fantasy Pros half PPR ADP to kind of just give you guys an idea of where these players are going. So without further ado, let's get right into that meat and potatoes, the main event that is today's video. We are going to be talking about 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and little ASMR. A mystery player. Could be a tight end, could be a quarterback, could be a kicker or defense. All right, spoiler alert, it's not a fucking kicker or defense, I'll tell you that right now. But anyways, let's kick it off with the running backs. And the first player I want to talk about is Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team. Current ADP, 16th overall, so he's coming off somewhere in like the early to mid second round. He is my guy, Antonio Gibson. I love Antonio Gibson. I teeter with him, moving him right. He's sitting right there with Jonathan Taylor. I go back and forth sometimes. But anyways, that's kind of beside the point. I digress. Now, Gibson was extremely efficient and effective as a rookie, coming in with no true offseason, converting from wide receiver to running back, and I expect his role to only grow this season. I expect this offense to be a lot better as well with the additions of Ryan Fitzpatrick and Curtis Samuel. I expect them to be a more effective, more efficient offense, resulting in a lot more scoring opportunities. Now, some of the reports we've heard out of camp, right, were that they wanted to get Antonio Gibson more involved in the passing game, hopefully phasing J.D. McKissic out a little bit and having Gibson take on that role, as he did play as a wide receiver in college. So it only makes sense that he'd be more involved in the passing game. And the good news is that we heard that in camp, Gibson was running with the team on a lot of hurry-up type of situations, which means that in 2-minute drills, whatever, Gibson should still be on the field. Now, another report that has kind of got swept under the rug a little bit with everything going on, and I can't understand why, is that Ron Rivera said that turf toe issue, the one thing that was really scaring me about Gibson, that his turf toe issue from last season is a non-factor. It's a NIF, bro. It don't exist. Maybe it exists, but it's not a huge deal, and they're not worried about it. So in turn, I am not as worried about it. So with all that in mind, I am cool with taking Gibson anywhere in the second round. If he falls late in the second round, great for you. If you have an early second round pick and you want to double up on running back, Antonio Gibson is your guy. I absolutely love Gibson for fantasy football in 2021, and that is why I do not want to leave any of my drafts without him this season. Now, moving on to the second running back. This one's a little more polarizing, right? Javonte Williams of the Denver Broncos, currently 66 overall in terms of ADP. So he's going in like the middle of the 12. I'm so bad. 1 through 12, 12 through 24, 24 through 36, 36 through 48. The middle of the 6th round. I'm sorry. I should be so much better at this point, but always have to do that. Usually I just write it down, but my script is, I wouldn't even call it a script. My notes are fucking very limited today, so bear with me. So he's going 66 overall, so he's somewhere in like the middle of the 6th round, right? And the reason why I like Javonte here is because this is right around the area where I'm fucking throwing dots, right? I'm just throwing dots. And I'm getting kind of like 2019 Miles Sanders vibes from Javonte Williams, right? Where you might have to stash him for a little bit. He's probably not a guy you're going to start week 1, but throughout the course of the season, I expect him to get more and more involved. They invested, the Broncos, that is, 2nd-round draft capital in him. They traded up to get him. On top of that, Melvin Gordon's on his way out, right? So I expect them to want to get Javonte Williams involved sooner than later, right? To get him more acclimated and adjusted to the game. Especially if this team's bad, they'll probably want to use him even more. But even if they're doing well and Javonte's outplaying Melvin Gordon, it's realistic that he ends up taking over as the lead back in this offense. Now, he had a very young breakout age as well, which is very important because generally players with a younger breakout age transition to the NFL a little more smoothly, and he has a great college resume to back him as well, so we know what he is capable of. He's also relatively versatile as well. He's a good pass catcher. He's obviously a very good runner, so I expect to see him involved in all facets of the game. And last but not least, this team just has a lot of weapons. You got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton's coming back, Noah Fant, even KJ Hamler has a lot of upside. So defenses are not going to be able to hone in on the running game, barring that both Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock don't absolutely suck. If that's the case, and one of those two can kind of get this offense rocking and rolling, there's a lot of different avenues for this offense to produce with, so you cannot just hone in on Javonte Williams and the run game. So I am really, really, really looking at Javonte Williams, targeting Javonte Williams this season because I think there's a whole lot of upside. You might have to wait for it for a little bit, but he could be the type of guy that in the second half of the year carries you to a playoff spot and eventually a championship. So that is why I do not want to leave fantasy football drafts without Javonte Williams in 2021. Now, moving on from the running backs over to the wide receivers, I'll give you one fucking guess who the first player I'm talking about is. 3, 2, 1. Look this way. Yeah, over my right shoulder. Are you looking over my right? Yeah, you're looking over my right shoulder, but fuck it. Never mind. It's Allen Robinson. Of course it's Allen Robinson. It's fucking Allen Robinson of the Chicago Bears. Current ADP, 34th overall, coming off at like the end of the 3rd round. You might even see him in the 4th round, and that is absurd to me. Because in 17 games, Allen Robinson is a shoo-in, an absolute shoo-in for 100 catches, right? He's a clear focal point of this offense as well. There's not a lot of competition for targets. You got Mooney, you got Cole Kmet, and then it's just like a crapshoot from there. So he's going to get targeted heavily. We've seen it in the past, how involved he is in this offense. He's playing for a contract as well, which is very good news because he's going to want to produce in order to get the bag next season. Now, he also has improved quarterback play with both Andy Dalton and Justin Fields, and this is where the upside comes in for Allen Robinson, where we know what he's going to be. He's going to get his 100 catches. He's going to get his 1,300 yards. He's going to get you 6, 7 catches a week for 70 yards, a touchdown every other week. When you look at it that way, in terms of points per game and half PPR, you're looking at like a 13, a 15 point per game guy, which is just fine here. He's very, very safe. But then also you have the emergence of David Montgomery last season, which should make it so that this offense runs a little smoothly, a little more smoothly, a little more efficiently, and defenses won't be able to just hone in on the passing game, right? So Robinson has that very, very safe floor and more upside than ever, especially if and when, and big emphasis on the when, Justin Fields does take over. Because if all of a sudden he goes from being 100 catches and 1,300 yards to 100 catches, 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns instead of 7 or 8, now all of a sudden we're talking about a top 5 wide receiver. Now, moving on to the last wide receiver that we have to talk about today. That is Antonio Brown of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, current ADP 100th overall. Now, You guys have probably heard this from me and other content creators, podcasts already, but in the time Antonio Brown spent with the Bucs last season, he led the team in targets. Do I expect that to be the case this season? Is it the most likely scenario? No. Is it possible? Yes. Is it in the range of outcomes? Yes. In a Tom Brady offense, if Antonio Brown's getting 120, 130 targets, there's a whole bunch of fucking upside there. Now, to me, he is the best value out of all the Bucs receivers because I do want a piece of this receiving core, right? But Evans, I'm completely fading. Godwin, I don't hate in the 4th round, but I'm not really necessarily targeting him. I'd rather just go with Antonio Brown a little later. Good news is, on top of that, he's been staying out of trouble off the field too. I mean, between the time that I record this video and it comes out, that could absolutely change. But from what I know, he hasn't been getting in any trouble. So that is great news as well. And then now we have to take into consideration, last season he played very well without playing football, professional football, for a long time. He's got last season and a full offseason under his belt. If he does end up being the target leader on this team, after a full offseason getting ready to go, I'm not too concerned about injuries. It's more the off-the-field shit. He is getting a little older, but there's a whole lot of upside there. And worst case scenario, what happens? He gets 100 targets or whatever. If he plays the whole season, finishes as like a wide receiver 3, you can use him as a flex. You draft him in the 9th round here. You don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? So the upside is there, and that is why I am targeting Antonio Brown, and I do not want to leave any of my fantasy football drafts without him in 2021. Now, it's time for the secret. For the mystery. We're coming with the mystery, and that player is Ryan Tannehill, quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, ADP 82nd overall, which I think is a little misleading because that's like the back of the 7th round. But a lot of time I see Tannehill available in the 8th, 9th round, in mocks at least. We'll see what ends up happening. But regardless, I'm fine with Tannehill there, right? He's been hyper efficient. He's been a great fantasy quarterback ever since he has been with the Titans. And now this season, you have A.J. Brown back, fully healthy, ready to go after last season where Tannehill was already great, playing with A.J. Brown all banged up. And now on top of that, you have baby Julio and A.J. Brown, and you have the real fucking Julio Jones there now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you're a defense, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. You can't, that's ridiculous. And obviously that's great for Ryan Tannehill. Oh wait, I know what you're going to do. You're going to worry about fucking Derrick Henry in the play action game. This offense is going to be nutty this season, right? And you have Tannehill at the helm benefiting from that. And I expect this team to throw the ball more with the addition of Julio Jones, right? And I expect them to be very, very efficient doing just that. If this team had a good defense, it would be wraps. This team would be my Super Bowl favorite by far. But I do expect this offense to be great for real football and especially for fantasy. And the last thing on Tannehill, just like Tannehill was our sneaky mystery guy, he's got that sneaky rushing upside that we love to see, right? He's not going to run for 500, 600, 700 yards, but he's going to run for like 400-ish yards, 350, 400 in 17 games. Maybe he does hit 500, right? He's going to get you 5 or so rushing touchdowns as well, and that's just padding the stats. If they're throwing the ball more, Tannehill's running a little bit, scoring a lot of touchdowns, getting more yardage. He is going to be a sneaky fantasy quarterback for 2021, and I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes top 5 at the position, and dare I say, maybe even top 3 this season. And that's why I do not want to leave any of my fantasy football drafts without Ryan Tannehill in 2021. But that's my list, right? Let's quickly go through. We got Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team, 16th overall in ADP. You have Javonte Williams of the Denver Broncos, 66 overall in terms of ADP. You have Allen Robinson of the Chicago Bears, 34th in terms of ADP. And then Antonio Brown, 100th in terms of ADP of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course. And then last but not least, Ryan Tannehill of the Tennessee Titans, 82nd in terms of ADP. But that is it. That is all there is. I am done for today. That is my list. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I've talked about a lot of these players already before, but fucking A, man. I've talked about everybody at this point. So I just wanted to give this to you guys. Kind of at this point, things have changed from the last time I talked about some of these players, whatever it may be, their ADPs, their situations, whatever. So I just wanted to give this to you guys. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. That is very, very important. Help me reach my goal of 300 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. Help the channel grow. The likes, the comments, the subscriptions, it helps boost the algorithm so my content can be shown to more people. I would really appreciate that. Check the description down below for the links to my socials, Instagram, Twitter, and the podcast. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you do have an Apple product, I would really appreciate it. But I am done. I am out. Me, my boy, we are out of here. We will catch y'all next time. And as always, thank you, love you, peace.